What's up, everybody? This is Real Estate by Chance. I'm Chance Jackson, and today I'm going to be talking to you about something a little controversial. The topic today is for sale by owners, and more specifically, the dangers and potential pitfalls of a for sale by owner transaction. So some people choose to sell their own home in the hopes that they'll save a lot of money because, you know, when you do go to closing to close a transaction and you're looking at all the line items and you see how much commission the realtor is getting paid, it can make people a little uncomfortable. And a lot of times people don't actually see what the realtors really do. So naturally people think of, they want to save their hard-earned money, which is totally understandable, but they try to do it in a way without really knowing what they're getting into. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about the dangers of getting into a real estate transaction without a realtor is assuming the transaction is going to be really simple, thinking that, oh, it's going to be, cake. I just follow the breadcrumbs, I do exactly what I'm supposed to, and it'll be over like that. It is not. It's simple if you know what you're doing, but so is brain surgery, so is heart surgery if you're a surgeon and you know what you're doing. What I like to think about is I look back at my first real estate transaction and I knew what I was supposed to do. I was book smart, but at the same time I didn't have those street skills. And so the communicating, the paper pushing, the time frames, the deadlines, there's so many parts. And that's just when you're in contract. There's that whole world before you even get an offer on the table of things you have to do and your disclosures and all the documentation. I could take literally days to explain all of it, but that's what schooling's for. And so I'm not gonna do all that now. I just want you to go into this transaction realizing that there's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna be required to do. Once you start showing your house, you need to have a system in order to vet the people that are going into your home. Now, obviously, you can create a system in which people call to make appointments, but even then, a lot of times for sale by owners, you're gonna have that for sale by owner sign outside and people are gonna go knock on the door and expect to see the property then and there. This is very dangerous. You don't wanna get into a situation with somebody that is a bad actor that's in there scoping out a potential robbery or someone that's even scoping out the owners. There's been a lot of those scenarios where people break into houses and they do terrible things. You need to have a system to know who is going into your home and have proof of who they are. So if something goes wrong, you're protected. A lot of times someone gets into a for sale by owner situation because their neighbor down the street sold their house for an excellent price, and so they assume that they're going to be able to sell their house for a similar price. When real estate agents price your home, we are actually using the same comparative, we call it a comparative market analysis, that a appraiser would use to price your home. There's a lot of factors that go into pricing your home. So you want to make sure that you're pricing your property appropriately. And I have to stress, Zillow, Trulia, any IDX system that gives you a estimate, those are not correct. Every single agent that I know is gonna say a similar thing. I recently went through a transaction where the sellers were representing themselves. They didn't have an agent, and as I was talking to them, and kind of gauging on behalf of my buyers how this transaction was going to play out, they hinted that they thought that they would be leaning on me to handle all of the paperwork. My sole loyalty and by contract is to represent my buyers. In my state, and I believe this might be nationally, if it's not, someone let me know in the comments, but in my state here in Oregon, I cannot give any documentations or any contracts for the sellers to write up anything on behalf of their property. So I can't give them their property disclosure to fill out, any addendums to fill out. If they want to do a counter, I can't give them that. They have to do all those things on their own. And a lot of times that can be really sticky, and that puts them in a situation as to where I have the advantage because my documents are issued by the state, whereas You know, someone writing something out on a piece of paper without a lawyer or a professional to look at it and make sure word for word is going to protect them puts these sellers at a disadvantage. Now, most sales professionals are marketing masters. If you have no experience in marketing, this is going to be really challenging for you. Your marketing strategies are going to vary. You might want to hire someone to do videography. You're going to want a professional photographer. You're going to want people that'll help you put your advertisements on the MLS. If you obviously you won't have access unless you hire somebody to put your listing on the MLS. So you're gonna wanna give your house exposure, more than just having a for sale by owner sign outside. Now, it's impossible for me to lay out numbers for you to prove that you're gonna actually save money, because a lot of times, we can't go back in time and test the same property versus itself in the same market. But what I can say is this: real estate agents and mortgage professionals are extremely good at what they do. Our goal as a professional is to pay for ourselves. For example, I'll simplify an equation for you. Say your house is $100,000. You want to hire a realtor to pay the selling agent, let's just say 3%. They market the house, they sell the house. Say they sell the house for $115,000 because they put a little bit of extra elbow grease in there. They got to keep 3% of that, so they kept $3,450-ish. After all said and done, you ended up making $11,000 more than you would have made if you sold it on your own and you didn't sell it for as high. So as a for sale by owner, you're essentially banking on the fact that you're going to sell your house higher than the realtor would sell.
That's impossible!
So hey, that's basically some of the main dangers and pitfalls of being a for sale by owner. Like I said earlier, my name is Chance Jackson. Please stay connected. Have an incredible year. I'll see you in the next one.